Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Learning Torah Lishma. People wonder what's the closest thing to what we call a tzaddik, a righteous person. You understand? A holy person. What's the closest thing to that? And because it's easier for us to understand if we could have more examples. If something's close to it, then we could slowly build up to understanding what righteousness means. So what's the closest thing to righteousness, to a tzaddik, especially a tzaddik emes, a real tzaddik, you understand? There's a lot of people that call themselves tzaddikim, but because they might know a lot, but the Torah is not what's coursing through their veins. It's like something external, you understand? It's when the blood flows like this, that's the way you go. There's nothing separate from you and your blood. The same thing, if the Torah says this way, it doesn't make a difference. If you realize you're making a mistake, if you realize in this scenario you have to act differently, then you do that. The real righteous, the level of a real righteous person is how quick can they change course. Are they able to admit that they were wrong, right? In the Gemara you have it, in the Talmud you have it all the time, right? They thought this was the din, they argue it out, they realize they're wrong, and they admit. And they do what the other righteous person said because they realize that what they thought was incorrect. It happened, right? That happens all the time. There's a righteous person, and then there's a Talmud Chacham, a scholarly person. A scholarly person is supposed to be built upon being a righteous person. You're a righteous person, and now you become a scholarly person, or they happen together, but that is a tzaddik emes, you understand? A real righteous person. But when someone just learns a lot, but never really didn't do the first level, you understand, of really becoming in sync with the Torah, that it's him, and not that it's like a separation. There's his ego, his pride, his anger, all those things in between, what other people think, all those in between, that means you're not a real tzaddik, you understand? So, what's the closest thing to a righteous person is an entrepreneur. But by Judaism, making a lot of money is the last step. Of course, most of those things coincide once you come at a certain age, but that's the closest thing to a righteous person, entrepreneur. I love it, and Hashem loves you more.